You now have gaming coverage and gaming conversations being being taken over by people who simply want a faction or people that are new to this. So everything's great to them because honestly, what you're getting is you're getting more polished, not necessarily, not at all more innovative, but just more polished versions of stuff from 2 generations ago. Like everything that we're playing now, except for one game style, every popular game style that we're playing now, except for one, came in 2005 when the PlayStation 3 and the 360. So generally, everything that we're playing now is 20 years old in concept. It's just more polished. I'm sorry. I come from a generation where, on an average, every 5 years, there's some type of innovation in how you engage with the game. You just look over the timeline from, like I said, from the Atari all the way up to the PlayStation 3. You saw big innovations in how you engage with games, the type of games that were popular, the type of things that games would have you do. You saw an evolution since 2005. No, am I lying? Is it 2005? Hold on, let me see something. I could be lying. When did the Xbox 360 come out? I think the OG Xbox came out. Oh, okay. No, I am right. The OG Xbox came out the Xbox 360 came out November 22nd, 2005. So we are in essence playing games that are based off of themes and theories from then that are just more polished, that just have better performance or look better in graphics. With these marginal enhancements, we are essentially playing games. Look, the first person shooter. The military style first person shooter was popularized at a console level with the 360 PlayStation 3 generation. The third person over the shoulder action adventure game from PlayStation. Uncharted is the grandfather of those games. Uncharted came out in the PlayStation 3 generation. The first person view action RPG game, like a BioShock. That whole concept came out with the 360. The looter shooter, the Borderlands, that came out with the 360. Hell, even the Souls games that came out with the PlayStation 3, the late PlayStation 3. The action first-person RPG, like the Bethesda Software's games that we're talking about. You're at the things that inspire games like Adam Fall, whatever, that came out with the 360. And the PlayStation 3, of course. All those games, you know what I'm saying? I mean, some of them were exclusive to either the 360 or the PlayStation 3. But you get what I'm saying. The game came out in that generation. The only popular game style that is dominant in this generation that did not come during the 360 generation is the Battle Royale game with PUBG and then subsequently Fortnite. That came last gen. That's it. All those other, the action RPG, the third person over the shoulder, the the open world, first person, Western RPG, all that stuff came to fruition, came about during the 3. So we're essentially the overwhelming majority of the popular games that we're playing, they are just derivatives of games from 20 years ago, not slight inspirations. They are essentially the same games at the core, at the development basis, fundamentally, as far as, engagement, as far as gameplay loop, as far as design. They are at the core from 20 years ago. That's why I'm not inspired anymore. The only people that were trying to push against that narrative, a huge reason why I landed on this platform, was PlayStation. PlayStation undoubtedly was trying to come up with more. They're trying to do something different. As you can see, they got games like Returnal, not necessarily my cup of tea, but that's them trying to push the envelope, them investing in that. Now they're coming out with Soros, right? You see games like Death Stranding, which you could kind of somewhat put in the realm of the third person over the shoulder, but not really. Again, it's not a first person game, but it's one that wouldn't be here if it wasn't for PlayStation. Didn't Kojima just talk about that, about how there are no Kojima productions without PlayStation? So you had one company that was heavily invested in trying to say, okay, we understand last few generations, this is what we've leaned on, we've just been polishing it. Let's try to push it more. Let's try to let's find that next great thing. And then in comes Totoki. And he ruins it all. And he's ruining it all. I'm not inspired. Like I'll give you a prime example. You guys know I love The Division 2. I love the concept behind The Division 2 and the Division series. I know it's not always been the most popular series, but I love the concept behind it, and that was always my go-to. Now Helldivers 2 comes out, and it, not really similar to Division 2, but it has enough going on in it where it's scratching a co-op third-person military shooter itch. And I'm not even interested in Division 2 anymore. I haven't really picked up Division 2 since then. I'm watching these new updates that they're talking about, and they're not inspiring enough. Like, I really think Division 2 has worn out its welcome. It's time to just go to Division 3 and really give some keep the same concept of, hey, military style cover shooter, gadgets, you know what I'm saying, in infected areas. But really, I really think some gameplay interaction stuff has to seriously change. Like, even, I would even suggest, allowing you to pan from first person to third person. Some other, and in order for that to work, in order for you to be able to pan from first person to third person, you gotta change the gameplay mechanics severely. I think if Division 2 kept the concept of gadgets and stuff like that intact, but kind of went to more of a shooter style that symbolized to a degree more of how Crisis operates, like the speed and the movement, more similar to Crisis with the tech, and allow you to do it in first person or third person, I think now we start getting the evolution in the game that really takes it forward, because they need a lot of change of life enhancements. Otherwise, you're going to just come out with another sequel that the first year or the first 6 or 7 months, you're going to see a lot of activity because it's the brand new, well, it's not fully a brand new course, but it's the next thing out, and then it's just going to fizzle. But as far as Division 2, I have no interest anymore. Like, the game has run its course. And if you think I'm tired of Division 2, I'm really tired of Borderlands. And look, even though I'm saying, All right, what's up, everybody? What is up, everybody? We are back. We're back with In a Row Podcast. I am here with your other host, Cold Blood Sensei. Cold Blood, how you doing today, good brother?
Bro, fucking great, as usual.
You ready for some?
Oh shit! Wait. Oh man, I forgot about the what? How many minutes can we swear? Damn.
Oh no! I played the movie. I played that snippet to get past that because I'm like you're ready to curse from the bat. So go ahead.
No, bro, like Gamescom was a fucking shit show. So really,
God.
I am like I'm completely checked out what the fuck happened there. Like afterwards, after the show. Like they had a whole 5 days of streams. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, if you don't announce a Resident Evil demo that I can play at home, fuck you. If you don't announce the Silent Hill F demo, fuck you.
Yeah,
like I don't care about nothing else.
Yeah.
Like all those trailers, bro. Like Resident Evil, I don't even want to see them. I want to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am already sold on Resident Evil from the beginning, so don't even show me shit. I want to see new games that I don't even know shit about, and that are fucking great. Not some dog shit indie crap. We got a lot of that, unfortunately, as usual with fucking Jeff, bro. I swear, after this show, if Jeff was standing next to me, I would have punched him. Like I hate this formula for these shows.
Yeah.
I so fucking hate it. And this time it was the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I've been watching from the sidelines, even though I've been tied up and shit, and you know, catching stuff when I can. And I'm gonna tell you the thing that pissed me off the most about Gamescom is when he had the audacity to come out. And I know, see, this is why I say, just wait for the dust to settle to see what I'm saying. It'll catch you guys at some time. But even though everybody wasn't like extra exuberant or gave a shit when E3 died, E3 was way better than this shit. And when he sat there and said, E3 ain't dead, it's here in Cologne, like, no, like, this is different. I think believing that just showing a bunch of shit that you can go pew pew at is the equivalent of E3 is what's wrong with the game industry today. And why, what you heard earlier, if you guys were listening to like our pre-show, is I was playing a snippet from a members video where I talk about why I'm dismayed about the future of platform gaming. And I touch on this. We got a lot of tourists, new gamers, and gamers with an agenda trying to get cozy with companies to get codes or be seen and all this stuff and be seen at events and all this other stuff. You got a lot of that happening. And I think the main essence that which makes great gaming great is being forgotten, because these are the voices, the people that are being most listened to. Gaming is its best when there's competition. It's always its best when there's competition. Prime example.
Wait, what you talking about? Don't we have the Rog Ally Xbox thing now?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Xbox joke ally. Yeah, that, man. And the thing about that, and we're going to talk about that in full detail, that thing is a joke. And people were telling you it was a joke. And people like, no, I'm going to be playing my native Xbox games because Xbox said. And so then Xbox tried to put up a bullshit trailer. They tried to get Jason Ronald out there to fudge the numbers as usual. They tried a lot of bullshit. And that bullshit came back to bite them in the ass. And so then subsequently, Xbox had to go out there and put a statement out there and say, no, this is not and I'm paraphrasing. This does not give you access to play all your games natively. You know what I mean? And now everybody's scrambling on Twitter because, again, they fit into one of few categories. Either they're new to gaming, so everything that's out is great because they've never experienced it before. So their palate is very, immature, compared to the rest of us that's been experiencing this stuff for years, if not decades. So you got the green gamers, the wet behind the ear gamers. You got the gamers that got agendas that's trying to get cozy in with companies and get perks and swag and all other shit. And then you just got these gamers that want, I call them faction gamers. They just want to belong somewhere. So they'll defend anything. And now they're out here on Twitter cold blood talking about, oh, well, now it's who cares if you don't get to play all your Xbox games, but now it's the Rog Ally can do way more than the Portal. so now that's what makes it worth it. It can do everything that the Portal can do and some. You know what I mean?
Oh, wait. Yeah, at what price?
Exactly.
Like, that motherfucker should be doing all these things at $900 and more than that. It doesn't even do more than that. It's just literally a fucking tablet with two controllers on it, playing Windows 11, bro. What are we doing here?
Shout out to Shatterstar 187 for joining the chat. I love when I see these people here. I'm gonna try Shatterstar. I'm gonna be nice before. So you're gonna get the nice end of MM2K before everybody else gets this business, because we're still just warming up here. He says, "Come on, mate. Y'all still doing this console war mess? It's over. There's no PlayStation versus Xbox anymore. Why are you talking about an Asus PC device anyway?" Okay. So here's what we don't do. We don't placate to people that just want to sit here and listen to gushy, good stuff about your favorite piece of hardware. You clearly are using Xbox bleed green rhetoric that doesn't fly here. We give everybody the business. We talk about Xbox, we talk about PlayStation. Number two, what are you talking about console war mess? Get your verbiage right. This proves that you listen to nothing but trash podcasts and trash community conversations, because you're using the term console war out of context. Console war is an industry term. You can go to people like Peter Moore and so forth and look at its origin. You're talking about fanboying. Console war means the competition between the two. You're just so lost in the sauce that you're using misappropriated rhetoric from these dumbass communities. So before you come here and try to argue down why we're doing what we do, at least get the terminology right. Console war is an industry term. See, I've been gaming for decades. I know this shit. You're probably one of these wet behind the ears gamers that are using rhetoric out of its context. Okay. So what we do here is we talk about what different platforms are doing. And if you just listen to what I said competition is needed in video games. So the reason why we're talking about this handheld is because regardless of competition, it has nothing to do with PlayStation, because PlayStation is fucking up on a different level. This has nothing to do with competition. We're talking about the Asus ROG Ally because it's a fucking joke. That's why we're talking about it. So get yourself together, because you're dealing with a different animal here. Now I'm starting to get warmed up. You're dealing with a different animal here. This is not Colt Eastwood's podcast. This isn't any of those other podcasts where that type of rhetoric or that type of mindset will fly. Educate yourself. Go hit Google up for maybe 24 hours before you dig this hole for yourself. But I'm telling you right now, we will criticize and we will praise everything under its proper context, which you clearly do not have. The Xbox ROG Ally is a fucking joke. It has nothing to do with PlayStation. The reason why I brought up the Portal is because somebody said that it's worth it because of what the Portal can do. If you got a problem with that rhetoric, you go talk to the dumbass that said that. Don't come here with that. Maybe you don't realize where you're at because I haven't been here for a while. But we don't entertain, especially with all this BS that's happening in gaming right now. We will not entertain it nicely. So that's the nicest I'm gonna put it to you, Shatterstar. All right. So take those beans and heat it up or refry it, whatever the fuck you want to do. Okay. But anyway, to your point, Cold Blood. Yes, if it can stream PlayStation 5 games, great. And then I also heard somebody say on the internet, "Oh yeah, well, it's not just $199 if you want to stream your PlayStation games. You got to add $199 plus the cost of the PlayStation." Well, then you got to add the cost of the PlayStation to the Xbox Rog Ally as well. Like the conversations that I'm seeing on the periphery are so fucking stupid. It's mind numbing. It's mind numbing. And that's why, I mean, Shatterstrike, to give him a warning, like, I am so sick of this brain dead remedial perspective that's taken on gaming. Like, you got these factions that'll sit here and listen to the stupidest reasoning and argumentation out here. Meanwhile, these companies are getting over. And then by the time it happens, it's like, oh my God, why are they doing this to us? But the signs were there a long time ago. We should have capitalized on the signs. And that's why I'm urging people that are fans of PlayStation, you do have an opportunity for them to, I mean, it's a very small opportunity. You do have an opportunity to get them to backtrack on some of this bullshit that they're pursuing. Why do I argue that? Because we saw Hiroki Totoki do that lame ass publicity stunt with Kojima, dressed up in his out gear, took off the suit and tie. I mean, what was the purpose of that? Otherwise, to quell down the backlash from their recent moves. It was a cornball move. But why would they do such a cornball move? Because they're listening and paying attention. They're sending Dear John letters to everybody. They realized that they kind of stepped on the rake a little bit. So you at least, if you're a PlayStation gamer, you at least have some recourse to try to push back and see what happens. There's a silver lining, possibly. If you're an Xbox gamer, you just got to take it for what it is. And if you're an Xbox console gamer, and you haven't read between the tea leaves now, I feel sorry. Well, I don't feel sorry for you because, you got to just use your brain when it comes to this stuff. But if you're an Xbox console gamer, you're going to have to start looking elsewhere. And if for those of you, I don't know, Cold Blood, were you astounded or surprised? I was surprised at how many people that be on these platforms every day actually thought that the Xbox Rog Ally was going to be a proper Xbox handheld that played all of your games natively from the Xbox store. I was surprised at how many people thought that. Were you surprised, or was it just me giving people more credit regarding their intelligence?
I mean, look, if you had even the slightest idea what the Asus ROG Ally is, you would have known that you ain't playing no Halo on that motherfucker. Yeah. Not natively, at least. Yeah. I mean, the Halo 5 that is exclusive still to Xbox One. Or other games that you have in your library that aren't Xbox Play anywhere. If you didn't know that, and you've still been hyped for this shit, well, now you know.
Yeah. Yep. Geek to Sneak says you were early. Yeah, we had to change the podcast dates, Geek, from Friday to today because of my schedule. Let's see here. Donald Cowie says, I always assumed the ROG Ally would run PC port of Xbox games. OG Xbox will not run on ROG. I mean, I don't know. Here's the big question. Which it doesn't matter to me, because when it comes to Xbox loves for you to imagine the possibility of this or that, like it's coming, and then when none of it comes, you're just stuck with a device in your hand that does not meet the expectations that they set for you. But I don't know if down the road they're planning on some type of emulation of their legacy content, like if they're going to have an emulator of Xbox games digitally running, and that is their way for backwards compatibility. I don't know. But until...
Wait, you don't think, Moss? You don't think these publishers would have a say in this?
Absolutely. That's why. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think they're gonna say, nah, you're not making this motherfucker because we want them to double dip on PC.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. They can just get the. Oh, is the game still on Steam? Okay, they can get on Steam. Oh, is the game still on my library? On my PC store? Yeah, okay, they can get it there. I agree. Because it's unprecedented. Nowhere has a store front that's been associated to dedicated devices or a brand of dedicated devices. Never has it been dissolved and then all the content properly moved to PC. This is unprecedented. This is uncharted waters, kind of like the cloud thing, where, they want to, a lot of these publishers are not letting Xbox do what they want to do in the cloud because they're like, the cloud version, streaming this on the cloud in the manner that you guys are going to do it, is still a different SKU. So that's going to be a different purchase. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of stuff happening to where, like Cold Blood is hinting to, publishers are just not with it. So when it comes to Xbox, when it comes to any of these companies, but particularly Xbox, what you see is what you get. That's the way I would take it. What you see is what you get. Let's go look at some other comments. And I'm a few minutes behind regarding E3 being better. Had E3 still been around, it would have been exactly like the shows we get now. It's not that E3 is gone that caused the show. No, I disagree. I disagree with that. I respectfully disagree. I get your point of view. Here's the thing. Here's why Jeff's shows are so trash. And I've been pointing this out for years. And this is the point I was trying to make before I had to respond to our good friend Shatterstar. And again, Shatterstar, you trust me. Don't feel like I focus solely on you and bullying you. I gave you the nice version, because if anybody else comes with that dense rhetoric that you hear from these dumbass fucking podcasts, they're gonna get torn to shreds. So I was nice to you. That being said, I get where you're coming from, Savicki. Reason why I disagree is Jeff's shows are fish doo-doo because there's no competitive spirit there. Like when you go back to E3, whenever you have that tension of, these people behind me or in front of me are coming to tell people, hey, you need to focus only on what we got. Fuck them, focus on us. When you have that type of tension, that makes you raise the stakes on what you present and what you have to offer. There's a reason why we don't know about shit anymore. I mean, I get that the gaming community, there's a wing of the gaming community that's fanatical and they're doing dumb shit like sending unalive threats to people, which is crazy. But no, for the general gamer, there's a reason why we're not getting anything anymore. There's no need to show it because you guys have accepted that I don't have to get on the stage and show you anything. Back in the E3 days, you had to show something. You had to keep pumping out content. And even though there was a lot of content that came out of that never came to fruition, I think that's better. I'd rather get more than get less. I think that proposition was better than what we're getting now. Back then it was about, hey, I gotta go out and I gotta outshow these motherfuckers because the person to the left of me and the person to the right of me, they're trying to take all the oxygen out of the room, so I can't let them do that. I gotta show my ass here. Versus, hey, can you show something? Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley. Can you show something? Oh, by the way, give me $250,000 a minute, or whatever his going price is. And you're like, sure, just so I can have a presence. Let me throw some shit out there, and I'll give you $250,000, Jeff. That's a lot better than what I had to pay at E3. You see what I'm saying? It's like there's no sense of urgency there. And I was thinking about that this weekend, Savicki. At the core, as much as, and this is what Shatterstar was trying to allude to, but he was in the wrong lane. Everybody wants to be kumbaya about this stuff. Well, the games are coming everywhere. The quote unquote misused terminology, the console war is over. What are you guys upset about? Stop all that bickering. What people don't realize is that the essence of gaming is competition. I'm not talking about the nastiness. I'm not talking about the personal attacks. I'm not talking about what y'all call toxic. I'm not talking about that rhetoric. I'm talking about, hey, I want to take all the oxygen out of the room. I want my shit to be so stellar that you focus only on me. That's what gets you more innovative product, more quality, better showcases, just everything all around better. All around better. That's why Jeff's shows suck. There is not that air of competition. It's just, let me have a presence. Like Cold Blood said, we saw Resident Evil. We know it's out. Where's the demo for us? Back in E3, they were trying to get you in. Like, so during E3 week, there was started to become a period where there were game demos. During E3 week, you could play this and play that because they were trying to suck you in beyond just having a presence. You don't take the extra risk and honestly pay that extra money to do so when you're just trying to have a presence. That's why Jeff's shows suck. It's just all about having a presence. We want people to take the oxygen out of the room. You don't get that with Jeff's shows. And now that that's not a standard anymore, it is what it is. And it's only going to get worse. Everybody now has their own lane. Nobody has a competitor anymore, so to speak. It's only going to get worse. Now, y'all can sit there and call us negative all you want. Hey, I got great games. I'm playing Death Stranding 2. I'm enjoying Game Pass. Okay, fine. I get you. But you got to get yourselves out of the first 5 minutes of now. You got to be able to see down the road. If you can't see down the road, by the time the shit happens, it's going to be too late. That's why we're raising our voices now. That's why years ago, I was doing shows with my homie Winter Soldier, Will Sink, and we were doing shows, how can Xbox still accomplish what Satya wants to do and still put out a better product. I was doing that years ago. I was doing that 5 years ago before this shit became etched in stone. And now Xbox is just basically a glorified publisher that's, putting its branding on PC devices and calling it Xboxes. If 5 years ago I told you this is what Xbox was going to do and you're a fan of Xbox, you would say, no fucking way, shut up. You're a hater. I'm going to try to get you arrested and get you off the YouTubes. No way you would have accepted this. Now it's like, it's okay because it's better than the Portal. That's absurd. So, let's get through some more of these comments. He said, nah, PlayStation get cooked, Xbox get cooked, Nintendo get cooked. Here, what you on, bro? Facts, Phil. Thank you. Thank you very much, Phil. I can't, bro. I don't have a tolerance for it anymore, Cold Blood. I can't. I'm watching this from the periphery and I'm just watching people accepting everything. We kind of were talking about this before the show, and I kind of had like an optimistic argument where Cold Blood is just like, no, people are just taking shit with no Vaseline, and he's probably going to be right again. I'm trying to give you guys the benefit of the doubt. Show that you have some type of brainwave signal. Go stop just taking this shit because you want to belong to a faction. You know what I mean? Like the thing that agitates me so much is the Xbox community. One of the things that agitate me so much is the Xbox community going out there and now acting like Xbox One because PlayStation is picking up some similar habits. See, Xbox is one. They have won. They made they're playing 3D chess and all this other stuff. No, Xbox didn't win anything. Xbox was saved by PlayStation. Like if PlayStation were to go away tomorrow, Xbox follows because now it's a symbiotic relationship. PlayStation doesn't need Xbox and PlayStation doesn't need to do this. This is why this is so baffling. But Xbox needs PlayStation. All this upward trajectory that's systemic, that isn't because you bought something, that all the systemic upward trajectory that PlayStation is seeing is solely because Xbox is seeing is solely because they're on PlayStation. They ain't seen this upward trajectory consistently when they went to PC. They ain't see this upward trajectory consistently through Game Pass. They ain't see this upward trajectory consistently with the Series S and the Series X. They're seeing it consistently with being on PlayStation. Imagine if they didn't put their games on PlayStation, Xbox would probably be closing down right now. And with PlayStation still being designed the way that they are, operating solely as a storefront that's bolstered by, the content that's anchored to its hardware and its console, they're still making more money than Xbox. This is what I understand. They made record-breaking profits. Remember Sony's closing down tomorrow? They made record-breaking profits, still earning money under the old system. They're at $30 billion. Xbox with a newly bought, with the newly bought Activision is at $23 billion. If you think about it, that's still somewhat an underachievement because when they bought Activision Blizzard was at $9 billion. And I think Xbox was at $18 billion. 9 plus 18 isn't 23. But there's no doubt they're seeing great quarterly numbers. That's because of them releasing games on PlayStation. And the reason why I hate that moniker right now out there in the gaming community is because it again excuses the horrible decision making that is happening to these platforms. It's excusing it.
No, you know what's funny, Moth?
What's that?
Xbox is winning in everything besides the Xbox console right now.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Like their games and subscriptions and shit is up. Their console numbers are down, like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And these motherfuckers still have the audacity to say Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
What you should be saying is Microsoft finally won.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
They finally found a way to make money with your bum-ass studios.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And if you're an Xbox fan, I've been arguing this for years because y'all been saying Phil Spencer saved Xbox. I said no, he didn't. He kept the brand going, but he didn't save Xbox. You know what saved Xbox? Microsoft, Satya Nadella, and forcing, because Phil didn't want to do this, by putting Xbox games on PlayStation. That's what saved Xbox. Satya Nadella, the guy that's non-cultured to gaming at all, he admitted it several times. He realized the problem with Xbox while Phil was there, but he kept Phil there because Phil because he's all about making money. He's not all about growing the culture. He just wants to make money from gaming. He doesn't care. Sony used to be about making money from gaming while growing the culture. It was a symbiotic relationship there for them with that. Now under Totoki, they don't think about that either. But Satya got it, as Cold-Blood alluded to, because they succeeded with everything except their own shit, their own hardware. Our games may be good enough to play on what you already have, but to go out and buy separate hardware for it, fuck no. They're not that good. They're not that interesting. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing PlayStation people, kind of like when Dreamcast died and all those Sega games started to come to PlayStation. It's the same thing. But a lot of you guys aren't seasoned or old enough to even know that, let alone remember that. I experienced it firsthand. When them Sega games started coming to PlayStation gamers bought it up. Why didn't they buy it when it was on Dreamcast? Because to them, it wasn't worth buying a Dreamcast just to play those games. Because then you take, at the time, a $40, $50 game and then you make it $450. It's not, their games aren't worth that. PlayStation games are worth that. You have plenty of motherfuckers that's like, oh, I don't have a PlayStation 5, but I want to play Death Stranding 2. Let me get a PlayStation 5. So that is, it essentially makes the purchase really a $470 purchase. But it's worth it. That's how good it is. And that brings me to my next point, where Geek, I used to agree with you. But I disagree with you now, because I've been looking at the trends. I used to agree with this sentiment. He says, the one thing that I've wanted since 2017 is for everything to come to PC. So far is good. Here's why you don't want everything to come to PC. If everything starts coming to PC, it's just what I alluded. If they're bringing it to PC for it to be a singular monetary gain. What do I mean by that? There's a difference between a game being an anchor to a platform and it forcing you, because you want that game so bad, it forcing you into a more expensive purchase. So whether the game kills the margins or not, it doesn't matter. Was it compelling enough to make more people buy more consoles? That's why Nintendo games are so good. That's why PlayStation games were so good. That's why the Xbox 360 games were so good. Because they operated under that dynamic. The moment you go to a model of these games don't necessarily have to anchor you to our platform, they're here to just sell individually, then you just become EA, Ubisoft, and Take-Two. You just essentially become, because then you got to change the dynamic of what is successful to you, and then what's your risk appetite, which is a business terminology. You then change your risk appetite. Your risk appetite as a third-party publisher is way lower than your risk appetite as a first-party studio for a particular piece of hardware or platform. There's a reason why Nintendo games and PlayStation games annually are dominant forces in the Game of the Year conversation. There's a reason for that. Because the risk appetite, which is associated and aligned with the quality of games, is higher on the platform side. So if you start running into a situation where a year, even 2 years, a year under, you start bringing your games to PC, you're more focused on parity. You got to divide up your support. You also now factoring in new demographics. It's like pouring water in the Kool-Aid. Oh, I made this picture of Kool-Aid for 12 people, but 10 more showed up. Oh, let's put, and your solution is pouring more water into it. Because you like, I can't afford to go buy another pack of Kool-Aid. So you just pour more water into it. Does that solve the problem? No, it just makes watery Kool-Aid, nasty ass watery Kool-Aid for everybody. That's what's bound to happen. So no, you don't want these games to come to PC in the way that's being proposed. If you want games coming to PC, I think, well, for Nintendo, I'm cool with Nintendo never bringing their games to PC. Just don't do it. Because then they got to pull their budget into, you know, creating porting teams like a Nixus. Now they got to have a Nixus. That's money that could be going elsewhere to make better games. But now they got to pull money to be a Nixus, or to have their own Nixus. Then they got to pull money into QCing this shit on PC and regulating shit for that demographic. That's money that's better used on making the Nintendo platform better. And what you guys, and what I didn't realize even back then, because I was saying the same thing back in 2017, Cold Blood will tell you that I wish I didn't necessarily wish, but I didn't see any harm in the games coming to PC. But what I started to realize is that when these games come to PC, you're pulling resources and it's going to water down the product. There's a reason why Nintendo games and PC games that were not appearing day and date on PC, or were not appearing on PC in a quick, what's the word I'm looking for? At a quick pace. There's a reason why they dominate the Game of the Year discussions and Xbox games didn't. Because Xbox games were watering down their content and worried about day and date elsewhere. So if you want the same quality of games, you're not a fan of this. You'll see. Because people are saying, well, right now, like, look at Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 was trash on PC, and look at this game, it was trash on PC. Oh, PlayStation realizes that. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to pull resources from these that were originally at these studios, and they're going to use those resources to better those ports. PlayStation said it themselves. And this is why, again, that whole job description thing, it kills me how people are misreading that. Thank you for the latest subscription. Unfortunately, I couldn't see who that is because that's my problem. The phone on my side is so small. But thank you for subscribing. Let me see if I can find that article, that job description. You guys are reading this job description so incorrectly. Oh, it's not a new position. That has nothing to do with the T in China. It's giving you a peer beyond the veil that a job description that, however old it was, now it's been catered to a multi-platform approach. I'm willing to bet my right arm when that job description was created internally, it didn't talk about, our focus is bringing games to Epic, Nintendo, Xbox. The verbiage wasn't like that. There's certain rhetoric in there now for that job description, regardless of how old it is. There's certain rhetoric in it now that only that only existed since 2024. So let's just say if the job is like 5 years old. It's been rearranged since last year. That is the issue. The issue isn't there's a new job created. The issue is, this is how Sony is viewing its multi-platform approach. This is a problem. Let me see if I can pull it up. Just get into docs. Why did Google have all these goofy avenues? Let's see here. I don't have the link there. Google. You are so good. You should be called Goofle. Let's see here. Wants to improve Herman Hulse PlayStation letter to fans. I don't have damn it. All right, let me see if I can find it on Twitter. PlayStation job. Why don't I have it on this doc? Here it goes. And I do have it bookmarked. Why did I find it in my bookmarks? All right, let's pull this up real quick, y'all, so you can see what I'm talking about. Why? And people are in denial. We got another subscription. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh no, Juice celebrates with 16 months and says, all Nintendo fans still wear Care Bear pajamas to bed every night. That they indeed do. All right, let's pull this up. Come on, let's do this fast. All right. And let's do this. All right, here's the job description. Reporting to the vice president, get the fuck out of my face. Reporting to the vice president, commercial management as senior director of multi-platform account management, you will play a critical leadership role in shaping and executing the global commercial strategy. All right, for PlayStation Studio software titles across all digital platforms beyond PlayStation hardware, including Steam, Epic Games Store, Xbox, Nintendo Mobile. That part right there, I don't, I'm going out on a limb and saying this part of it, I don't believe was spelled out in the description before. And if people have proof to the contrary, show it to me. We got another subscription. Geek celebrates for 15 months. Shout out to Geek. Thank you very much. Geek says of membership. Let's see here. This role is accountable. Listen to this. This is the concerning part. Not how old or when was this job description created. If it's from 1919, that's not the fucking point. This is the problem. This role is accountable for optimizing title profitability. For those of you that have not been doing your homework, that's relying on this, this is an old job description argument. Title profitability is new terminology from Hiroki Totoki. You heard it in the fireside chat. You've heard it in a lot of his conversations deriving from 2024. This is proof right here that this job description changed. Title profitability was never a pillar of how games were played or pursued on the PlayStation front. Title profitability is new terminology derived from Hiroki Totoki that says that instead of a game being anchored to the console or a platform, as far as what does it do to make the platform appealing, a game within itself has to sell well. So we don't care. So the old strategy was, look, we look at 10 games at a time chronologically. And out of those 10 games, all we need is 4 to sell well and 2 to sell well enough to fund the other 8. As long as we can do that, we're making enough money from the games themselves, but more importantly, we're creating enough games with enough diversity and dynamic to them that they are pulling you to our console and to our platform. That was the old strategy. The new strategy that did change in 2024 under Hiroki Totoki. A lot of you are saying the strategy never changed. Hiroki Totoki's strategy never changed. This is where you guys are being beaten in the head with a cash register with all these words and all this sly verbiage. The strategy did change in 2024. Hiroki Totoki's strategy hasn't changed from 2024 to 2025. But even though his strategy hasn't changed, what is Hiroki Totoki's strategy? He never elaborated in detail that his strategy didn't include putting games on Xbox. We fully don't know how deep Hiroki Totoki's strategy goes. We're getting little bits and pieces of it as we go. But now we're just discovering that part of his strategy is putting games on Xbox. But you see how that flew over y'all's head. This title profitability portion in this job description, whether it's new or old, whether it came from 1919 or not, is new. So the job description has changed. And this is where I don't get why this is flying over some of y'all's heads. A lot of y'all work. A lot of y'all have jobs. You're trying to tell me that your job description has never changed? Never? Like, don't you guys get yearly assessments where you got to sit down with your manager and they go over, okay, here was your job description this year. Here's what our expectations were. Here's how you performed to your expectations this year. You guys don't have annual reviews? Of course you do. So why is it so confusing that a job description should change? It's not. So why are you using that as an argument? For some reason, when y'all come to this space and make these arguments, you guys sound so stupid, like you don't live in the real world. It's insane to me. The job description apparently changed regardless of how old it is. And it's not about how old the job is. It's about this is giving you a peer beyond the veil of how PlayStation now, since 2024, is approaching its multi-platform approach. But it doesn't end there. It says this role is accountable for optimizing title profitability, ensuring cross-functional alignment. That's what really made me go, what? That's parity, for those of you that don't understand what that means. We want cross-functional alignment parity, meaning as time goes on, a lot of those particulars that were the games built to make the PlayStation shine, you're going to start to see those diminish more and more and more over time. Well, why would I buy a PlayStation then? What else are you going to buy? What else are you going to buy? You're going to buy a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 computer? In Sony's eyes, you won't. So what's the point of tailor making the games so much for PlayStation, then taking a few years to translate that to other platforms? No, we're not going to wait. We're going to make sure as we're building this, or as this thing is being built, we're going to speak up and give our 2 cents or whatever in regards to how it aligns from a cross-functional standpoint. Hey, that might not work on PC so well. You guys might have to reconfigure too much. Keep into consideration that when we port this thing to Xbox, that function might not work so well. And you're going to start to see those little particulars that were tailor-made for the PlayStation console start to diminish. What are they going to be replaced by? They're going to be replaced by the fact that, hey, you're getting a cheap console, because by the Moore's Law's dead leaks, it appears that, they're going for a cheap console that's going to have, high output, not necessarily natively, but with AI machine learning. So that's going to be your stick. Your stick is going to be, when it comes to other consoles or platforms, you're guaranteed the PlayStation version day one, and you'll get a cheap way to play it. How does that sound different from where Xbox is at with their games? I'm not saying that all PlayStation games are coming to an Xbox console while the Xbox console exists day one. I'm not saying that. But if your focus is not only on title profitability, where part of title profitability is also what they spoke to in the fireside chat, where they're cutting the resources. We have rigorous, this is what Herman Holtz said, we have rigorous QCing over how much things cost and all that other stuff. He was proud of that. So those days where Neil Druckmann was like, yeah, hey man, I had to shoot that shit over like 8 times to get it perfect, and Sony don't say nothing to me, those days are over. Because it's about title profitability. And then when you look at cross-functional alignment, that's parity. Well, let's continue on. And leading a high-performing team focused on multi-platform expansion. That's the nail in the coffin. Expansion. I'm willing to bet my right arm that wasn't in the job description in 1919 when it was created. I just don't get it. I don't get why when we come to this space, we become numbskulls in conversating over this. Do you guys not get annual reviews? Do you guys not have jobs? Maybe you don't have jobs. I'm not trying to be facetious. If you don't have jobs, then fine, I understand. If you have a job, then you should get an annual review. Unless you work for the mob or some shit like that. And I would even believe that the mob gives an annual review. You're dumping too much product, Louis. I wouldn't even imagine that they give annual reviews. But every job gives annual reviews. Your job description changes, right? Don't you guys have those times where you respond to your annual review and say how you're doing, and then you look at your 2025 review and you look at what your job encompassed in the 2024, and at the very least the verbiage changes a little bit. When I was in a role where I was managing managers, within a 5-year span, my job description changed 3 times. It changed 3 times in a 5-year span. This is not outside of the realm of reality. What are we doing here? Why do we get so numbskull when we talk about this stuff here? It's crazy. Anyway, let's continue with the comments. Record-breaking profits don't mean ish, MM2K. I guess it don't anymore, man. Shout out to Juice in the house and Geek to Sneak. Satya and Hiroki don't give a F about us. They are just suits. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. He says, I'm cool with consoles going the way of the dinosaur. Here's another. Hold on one second. Let me. I got to turn some air on in here. Hold on. I'm getting. He's on fire. Hold on one second. Oh. He's heating up. Jesus Christ. Hopefully you guys don't hear that. Can you guys hear that fan? I might have to turn it down. Okay. So, I thought that I thought the same way too when I was over there, singing the praises of Stadia. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? And this is when I had the epiphany about the PC thing too. I said, I had to really look at what made PlayStation games so great. What made PlayStation games so great is the old strategy, not the title profitability strategy, but the old strategy where they were willing to risk. They were willing to have a 60% failure rate. All they needed, not saying that that's all they had, but all they needed was 4 games to be successful. And out of those 4, 2 games out of the 10 to, do well enough to crush it and support the other ones. See, people have been crying since 2014 and before. Oh, PlayStation hasn't, they're not always seeing success on their games. They don't need to. They're not a third-party publisher. The games weren't designed for that. That's better for us because they were willing to take risks, especially now in a day and age when everybody's trying to do a Souls-like game or put in Souls-like elements where it's like, now you're starting to see more and more. I'm waiting for the Souls-like to go away. You're starting to see that more and more and more. Sony doesn't have to do that. They can take risks. They can create a variety of different game types because all they need is a 40% success rate. Why? Because as long as they can bring people to the store, they are going to see way more money than they would ever see just because a game of theirs sells well. They get more money from going to each publisher and saying here, and letting them develop the games. They get more money from that than they do sitting around spending hundreds of millions of dollars creating the game and waiting for it to sell. They make way more money that way. The other way. So I was thinking about that, Geek, and you probably remember when I was, capping for Stadia. And remember when I got my PlayStation 5 day one? And them motherfuckers were mad at me. Yo, I almost got kicked out of this. That was almost the second camp I got kicked out of. They was mad at me. What'd you get a PlayStation for? Because I'm a connoisseur of great games, and PlayStation makes great games. Man, fuck a console, man. Fuck hardware, man. Fuck it. No. I'm a gamer. I go wherever great games are at. And the fact of the matter is, the way the console is structured, the way it's anchored, it just creates the best games out there. That's why Nintendo, there's a reason why. If there was a different way for the best games to be created without a console happening, I'm all for it. But right now, that dynamic of this game has to be so good that you're not just willing to pay $70 for the game. You're willing to pay $70 for the game and pay an additional $300, $400, $500 to get the console if you don't already have it. That dynamic is so critical to great games coming out and it being a beacon of light to the entire industry and it motivating the entire industry. I don't want that dynamic to totally go away. Even if I totally game on PC or on the cloud or whatever, that dynamic is too strong, it's too influential. And then I said, shit. And I said, I'm getting me a PlayStation. And I was like, and then now I get it why Thrash and others don't want PlayStation to put games on PC day and date. Now I get it. Now it makes sense. I had to think about it. So yeah, I think we don't realize the domino effect or butterfly effect that's caused when we take that dynamic out. Until it's replaced, and I've said this before, until that dynamic is effectively replaced, where there's a sense of urgency for you to create a game so well that people will scratch and claw to get access to it. Until that dynamic is created at a level as high as a console game or console exclusive or higher, I don't want consoles to go. Even if I decide that, I don't want a game on consoles anymore, I want that dynamic there because that influence that hits the industry that comes from that game is so profound. It's the last beacon of light of innovation, consistent innovation from a AAA standpoint. Because we're not seeing innovation from a AAA standpoint from these third-party publishers consistently. The most consistent parties from that standpoint are Nintendo and PlayStation. So that's why, yeah, I used to think like that, but that's why I've changed my stance on that. If consoles go away, the overpriced PC parts will double in price. That is a possibility, Juice. Yo, the bot tards are even more toxic and delusional now. Here, Andrew, here's what's happening. And my PlayStation people, they can't be excused either, but the bots right now, they're going the way of the dodo bird. And they're just applying the strategy, if I swing dying, everybody dies. So I don't even pay much attention to them. I laugh at them, you know what I'm saying? They're a joke, honestly. But, because they're going to become refugees. A lot of them are not going to go to these new Xbox. When the real Xbox console comes out, not this Xbox Rog Ally joke. When the real Xbox drops, they're not making the move. It's going to be too expensive. They're going to have to go to PlayStation. The ones why are you saying that? Because the people that can afford this PC infrastructure, these PC, they already left. They started to leave last gen. They already left. If they had the disposable income last gen, they left because it's a no-brainer. That's why I said PlayStation. I'm with Porter Rock. PlayStation are idiots if they think that PC has no risk to them. Yes, if I have the disposable income and you start putting your games day and date on PC, or your window between PC and what's it called is so small. Yes, my upfront cost will be more, but I have way more options. Yeah, I pay a one-time upfront cost You know, especially with all this AI machine learning happening all over the place, and then me and Cold Blood was having a great conversation before. I don't know if he wants to chime in and give his perspective of it, but in my opinion, you got Mark Cerny that's actually helping develop this new wave. Like right now, it's pointless. Even though I'm mad at PlayStation, there's no reason for me to abandon my PlayStation right now and then go to PC. There's no point in it. The PlayStation 5 generation isn't over. I love the PlayStation 5 Pro is phenomenal, and I believe we're still going to get great games this generation. I just think after this generation, I don't know. I'm not confident under Hiroki Totoki. It's stupid and it's pointless right now to do that. But when that due to Project Amethyst, when those those wave of AMD processors and GPUs or whatever comes out by next gen, yeah, they might still be a little pricey, or they might not be pricey. Who knows? Who knows if the politicians that are in office now are going to be the same ones in office then? Who knows if the tariffs are still going to have an effect? Who knows how chip prices are going to be? Because by that time, the chip manufacturing might start, ramping itself back up again. So you could be running into a dynamic to where if PlayStation shortens the window of exclusivity with PC too small, you could have a situation where Mark Cerny could be helping to develop a replacement for PlayStation games that are like, well, fuck it. If it's only going to be 6 months before the game hits PC, I might as well build me an awesome rig, use the AMD technology in it, the AI machine learning in that, and go the fuck over there and get access to better stores, cheaper prices, all that stuff. Why wouldn't I do that? Geek, now this is where I align with Geek. Geek, Green Man Gaming, CD Keys, Kinyuan, G2A, All Key Shop. Day one, you're getting these games at a fraction of the cost. Where people are suing PlayStation because of the fixed price of their games on their store.
I think they lost already that suit.
Oh, they lost. Oh shit.
Who
lost? PlayStation.
No.
Oh,
no.
The gamers. The gamers.
Of course not. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So I'm just saying, man. Why wouldn't I go and say I'm getting access to a cheaper store? If I gotta wait 6 months, Cold Blood will tell you. I'll talk about these. Like I don't have Death Stranding yet, especially now because of my schedule. There are certain games that I'm like, oh fuck, I really don't want to wait for it. But if I got an option to make, building up my PC and getting access to better, more wide-ranging stores, or buying a PlayStation, especially if the PlayStation product starts getting watered down, because Hiroki Totoki, besides that job interview where I showed you where they're talking about title profitability and multi-platform expansion, besides all that, Hiroki Totoki, more importantly, within title profitability, is talking about cutting expenses. PlayStation is more proud of the checks and balances that they have around the expenses more than anything. Like when they talk about that, they gloat. They sit up in their chair and they smile and shit like that. So again, Neil Druckmann doing everything he can to make the most minute thing seem picture perfect. Those days are over. They're gone. Intergalactic might be the last great Naughty Dog game. Who knows? And it's not because Naughty Dog isn't good. You're only as good, and when you're a developer, you're only as good as the support that you get. So if you got Herman Hulse looking over your back, no. How about some of these skins from Concord? Put them on Ellie. Then, come on. Because again, his person, Angie Smets, I believe her name is, she replaced Connie Booth or Connie Bonner, that used to be the producer, the fame producer that Dave Jaffe was talking about, right? And I think, and shout out to Dave, But I think Dave had a little bit too many whiskey sours that day. He was really hyperbolic about how he was talking about, I got big PlayStation news, it's not great. He just went a little too hyperbolic, but it systematically was a problem. Was it Connie Vaughn? I keep forgetting her fucking name. But that the producer behind all the great PlayStation games, they replaced her with this Angie Smets, I believe her name is. And her and Herman Hulst are the ones that approved Concord. They are the ones that approved Concord.
Boss, I wanted to say to Andrew, happy Concord anniversary.
Oh shit. Yeah, I seen Jay Barry out there. Hey, remember that shrine you showed me? I wish if you still had that picture, that is hilarious. That shrine to Concord when it finally got canceled. Oh shit. Oh, that's funny. And here's this is a new feature. Listen to this tab. Oh, okay, that's cool. I actually have some notes on this about Connie Boo that I wanted to share with you guys real quick. So just so you guys understand what I'm talking about. So David Jaffe, known for his work on God of War and Twisted Metal, has discussed the departure of veteran PlayStation producer Connie Booth. Jazz stated that Booth was reportedly fired from a position as head of production after 34 years with the company. He also mentioned that her team was allegedly walked out of the building, but noted he wasn't certain if that part of the story was accurate. Jaffe added that he heard from multiple sources that Booth was leaving, and that Angie Smets from Guerrilla Games would be taking over her role. Who died and said that Guerrilla Games was now the purveyors of truth for PlayStation? But that's where we're at. And Angie Smets, the new producer that replaced Connie Booth, and Herman Hulst approved Concord. They sat there together and said, yeah, this is the ticket. Where I imagine Connie was like, what the fuck is this? This is a joke, Herm. Stop playing jokes on me, man. We got games to approve. Show me this Concord game. Stop fucking with me. This was like the Weatherman, It's Raining Men video. Like stop. Who the fuck are these characters? Seriously, this is the game? Herm, get the fuck out of here. Who gave you this job? And he probably went to Jim. Jim, she said that I did not belong in this position. That my ideas were fish doo-doo. I don't appreciate this. We should walk her out the door. And Jim did it. But that's who we have now. There is no Shuhei Yoshida. There is no Sean Layton. There is no Andrew House. There is no Jack Trenton. Right? We have Herm Hulst and Angie Smets, the approvers of Concord. So you combine that with a multi-platform approach that they're worried about optimizing title profitability and leading a high-performing team focused on multi-platform expansion. You combine that with budgets for games getting cut. Welcome to PlayStation. And there's nothing to worry about. Let's get to some more comments. The signs was that their job description, the fire chat that happened earlier this year, and the VP saying they're moving away from hardware-centric business. Yeah, and I see people not really putting much stake, Faded Blaze, in the hardware-centric business. They're like, no, that just means that they want to expand into, other forms of entertainment. The budget has to come from somewhere. Where's that budget coming from? Oh, it's being cut from Neil Druckmann when he wants to, perfect his game. And the money has to come from somewhere to do this. Andre Clay, are PlayStation guys still in denial about this? It's over. The whole slate is coming in. Well, there's a faction Andre, that's just as in denial as you were when Phil Spencer said only 4 games. Also, there was no proof of point, says Geek, of buying the PlayStation Portal if you already have a mobile. I mean, yes and no. Like, there's a third-party application, Geek, to where I was streaming my games from my PlayStation 5 over the app. And as cool as that was, it was kind of difficult for me to get into Horizon. I was playing Horizon Forbidden West on. It was kind of like difficult for me to get into that. So I see at $199, which is a very good price point, and there's places where you can get it on sale at $149 now. I think the Portal was worth it. Until PC prices come down, console gaming will exist. As long as people can get $1,500 value PC value with a $708 console, it will exist. No, my point, Juice, and my bad if I haven't elaborated on this particularly. I'm not saying the consoles are going to go away. What I'm saying is that PlayStation's plan is going to backfire on them, just like how it backfired on Xbox. When Xbox started putting their games day and date on PC, they thought that more platforms meant more money. Not the case. What ended up happening is, yeah, they expanded to more people, but the people that bought the most games said, oh, well, if you're going to put your games on PC where the games play better or play best at, because again, just like our PlayStation is talking about cross-functional alignment. If the game is going to be the same, there's nothing particular about the console version. Like, I'm not getting new levels, new maps, doesn't play, I'm not getting, if it's the same, if there's parity, and the only thing I got to rely on is the performance, where the performance can max out better on PC, depending upon how I build it, I might as well go build that PC and get the fuck off the console. And that's what people did. And there's data that shows that since Xbox did this, until they bought Activision Blizzard, and until they put their games on PlayStation, Xbox saw the slowest profit growth out of the big three. Why? Because their biggest spenders abandoned the console, because there was no point of having one anymore, and went to PC. So even though they were still getting paid from these people that were playing their games on PC, they're getting paid less. On the console, you're getting 100% of the game's revenue, and you're getting 30% of any multi-platform multi-plat transactions that happen. If I move to PC, now you're only getting 70% of your games from me, and now you're getting 0% of the multi-platform transactions. And as we can see from Sony makes more money from its storefront. So when I abandon your storefront, that's why everything went to shit for Xbox. People abandoned their storefront. They didn't necessarily abandon the Xbox games. They abandoned the storefront. And once they abandoned the storefront, it just led to the beginning of Xbox going the way of the dodo bird. And when I say Xbox, I'm talking about Xbox as a storefront and a platform. They're trying to do something with Windows, but Windows? Like, they're in a tougher battle now. Even though they got walled by PlayStation, they're in a tougher battle now against Steam. That's a harder nut to crack. They were better off staying here. You know what I'm saying? That's why all this rhetoric about Xbox did it and Xbox One, no. Xbox bent the knee, and now they're sucking off the tit of PlayStation. So I'm not saying that the overwhelming majority of console gamers, the gamers that buy 2 games a year and play Call of Duty all day or play 2K all day or play FIFA all day, they're not going anywhere. They just want to plug something in, press play the game. They don't want to get into all the shit that comes with PC gaming. That's not even an option for them. You're absolutely right. But understand that your gamers that spend the most per capita they are going to start to defect. Not all of them, but enough of them. They are going to start to defect. And ironically, in my opinion, Mark Cerny is developing a pathway for them to easily defect to, which I think are AMD rigs through Project Amethyst. Because me and Coldblood was talking about this earlier. One thing we do both agree on is NVIDIA's pretty much shit the bed. The 50 series is a bunch of dog shit. They're another one that is just handing a victory to AMD over the next several years if they keep on this trajectory. But you are going to create a dynamic to where Mark Cerny is going to develop an outlet where the disenfranchised, high-spending PlayStation gamer could go to. And yeah, are they going to spend a little bit more up front? Absolutely. But they'll probably be willing to do that to get all that back in some on the back end if the gap between exclusives is too light. And here's what the saving grace would have been. I would argue against this as I have in the past. I would continue to do this if PlayStation was still going to make the PlayStation version of its games unique to the other platforms. But they're now talking about cross-functional alignment or parity so they're going to be developing for these other platforms in mind, even if they don't come out day and date on these other platforms. They're going to be developing their games with these other platforms in mind. And as they're doing that, that's going to lessen the punch of what you get exclusively on the PlayStation console. If you still had those things injected into the game that still makes the PlayStation experience of the same game different than the PC experience, then I would say no, it's not really going to matter. But if you're developing the platform parity or cross-functional alignment, that's not going to matter. So I'm okay for the same game, or essentially probably a better game, because they're going to enhance their multi-platform efforts. Because Hiroki Totoki believes that if you sell to more platforms, that's automatically better. He's uncultured in this. So they're going to put more investment into their ability to port there. And a part of their answer is, let's skim down some things on the platform so it's easier for parity. Why would they do that, Moss? Again, they're looking at it the same way as Juice stated it, that the overwhelming majority of people are still going to stay on PlayStation. They don't really think anybody's going to leave and go to PC. And because where else are you going to go? We don't have to differentiate ourselves from anybody else anymore, because where are you going to go? And I think that's a mistake. All we got to do in their mind state, all we got to do is offer you a cheap way to play AAA games with great performance. That's it. They don't realize I hate using this term, but they're setting up their own Trojan horse for PC with Project Amethyst. Because that's creating a pipeline where your biggest spenders could say, well, fuck it, I might as well go. If I'm going to get the same experience and possibly better performance on a pimped out PC, I might as well go to PC. I gotta wait 6 months. Andre Clay says PS5 Pro is a joke. So is the Xbox Rog Ally. I could be wrong, but I don't see there being a PlayStation 7. I don't know. That's possible. He said Xbox community says Andrew Wilkins has always been horrible for all. We got our homie Devil Shooter. He says don't expect PlayStation to make the games they used to. Once PlayStation 6 is, thank you. Absolutely. It's over. I'm with Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter, I'm with you 1,000% now, bro. I'm gonna call you Devil Shooter. I'm gonna call you Devil Shooter the Messiah. DSM. Devil Shooter the Messiah. Devil Shooter's been telling me for years about this, y'all, and I kept rejecting it. He's been so spot on. I don't believe you're not getting the same games. Hiroki Totoki doesn't get it. And then even worse, he has Herman Hulse over these studios. And they're going to hamstring these studios to where you're not going to get the same product. Double shooter the Messiah. I refuse to touch anything Xbox studios that still put on Game Pass everywhere. I'm not paying for that garbage full price. I love the Concord game. It was good. Juice says, I agree with you. My comment is for those who say console gaming is like the DVD and VHS tapes. All right. Let's see here. How many people we got in here? We got 35 people. We only got 13 likes. Come on, y'all. Hit the like button. This is why, let me tell you guys something. I have a crazy ass schedule. Literally. Like, I have to squeeze sleep every other day. That's literally how crazy my schedule is. I average like 2 or 3 hours of sleep a day. For me to get more, I got to squeeze it out of another day. If I'm willing to sacrifice that extra sleep that I squeeze out of certain days to catch up for the rest of the week, I'm willing to sacrifice that and walk around like a zombie if we can start seeing more support, just on superficial things like hitting the like button. When I don't see that, I'm like, nah, I'm better off catching up on my sleep. We should have no less than 25 likes here. We got 35 people watching. Come on, hit that like button. All right. Yeah, T-Bull. That's why I think that's hilarious. Same people hyping up the handheld said PlayStation 5 Pro is a scam. Now, if I were to sit there and ask them what makes the PlayStation 5 Pro a scam, let's talk about that. Let's start with that first. Cold blood. Let's see here. Let's talk about the Xbox news. So, and I think I might, do I have a link on that? Let's see here if I can find the link. Xbox. Here it goes. So here was the big debate over the weekend. This is why I said these conversations, Cold Blood, are getting stupid. I don't even engage with them all like that anymore. I be wanting to write shit and I be starting to write stuff. And shout out. We got another subscribe. I wish I could see. Became a spawn. Fader Blaze. Shout out for Fader Blaze. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, good brother. Thank you so much. Oh no, Geek to Sneak did a membership. Thank you, Geek. I appreciate you, good brother. And Faded Blades was a recipient. All right. So here, let's do this. Oh, come on. Here we go. All right. So shout out to Wooly. Wooly Gamer. He says, absolute suckers. All they need is a marketing slogan and a button, and they're convinced. This is an Xbox that doesn't play Xbox games. This is a button. This has a button, though. Incredible. Yeah, I think no truer words have been spoken. It's Pure Xbox says, just coming from Pure Xbox. No, the Rog Ally, the Rog Joke Ally, or the Rog Xbox Ally handheld doesn't play native console games. But they try to put in some, but that's why Xbox Play Anywhere is good. Cold Blood.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this, first of all? What are your thoughts on this whole discussion about the Xbox ROG Ally, and now people trying to pivot and say, well, it's worth it because it can do all this other stuff even if it can't play your native Xbox games?
I mean, a laptop would do the same trick. I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. What it can do more than everything else, bro. Like, yes, it has a 1080p screen, but these games have to be upscaled to even reach 60 FPS most of the time. Mm-hmm. So you literally play the game at 540p or whatever, and then upscale to 1080p. Wow. Amazing. I guess on this little fucking screen, you're not gonna notice it as much. But if you dock that motherfucker on a monitor, you're gonna see immediately how bad it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, bro, I don't know who wants to torture himself, but playing fucking Xbox Cloud is probably the worst way to play a game.
Yeah.
Like, they got better over the years, a little bit, but holy shit, are they far away from everybody else still.
Oh my God.
Like, good that you call it a beta, because if that was the full product, bro, yo, what the fuck? You could not charge people for this shit. No, look, the Rog Ally is for the niche of the niche of the niche of gamers.
Yep.
Like there's a whole extra league of gamers that would get something like this. Yeah. Don't look at Twitter where everybody says they're gonna get it. It is probably 10% of those might actually get it because they're stupid. The other 90%, they're just telling you on Twitter. They're not gonna buy that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing to me that, and you guys got to see it in real time. That's why I said I don't pay the Xbox community any attention, because they're riddled with, again, people with agendas that are trying to get in cozy with the company for whatever reason.
If these bots really wanted a fucking ally, they would have gotten one already.
Got it, exactly. You got one with an Xbox logo on it.
Come on. The only motherfucker I saw on the internet that got one and actually plays it, I guess, is Doc. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
His ass is the only one that says he's gonna do it and actually does it. The rest of you motherfuckers, you just show us some fucking B-roll footage of Xbox showing you the fucking face.
Yep.
And saying, oh, it's the future of gaming. Bro, under 1080p gaming is the future of gaming. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Would you have imagined this is the future of gaming back in 2015 or something?
Exactly.
Because I wouldn't. Like, we had 720p. We had 720p the PS3 era, bro. We going backwards from that, bro.
Shit, you going backwards.
And then we get that with some trickery to 1080p all of a sudden.
You paying double the price. Back then you paid, what, $400 for 720p? Now you're paying $900 for it. Like, this is, and then look, man, it's cool to have it as an option, like these Steam Decks and all that shit. But I mean, they're under 10 million. Last time I checked, the last numbers I saw, the combined collective of these handhelds are like under 10 million. You really think that because you slapped an Xbox logo on it, that now it's gonna be, it's gonna triple to 30 million? Like, if Xbox had that much play in the PC community, then they wouldn't need to go to PlayStation. I think it's important for people to stop, to do exactly what Cold Blood is saying, is stop paying attention to Twitter and thinking that the handful of people on Twitter with their sock accounts and everything represent the entire gaming community. If Xbox's real standing in the PC community was that great, they would have never had to go to PlayStation. When they went to when they went to PC, they would have blew the roof off. PC gamers are not going to say, "Oh shit, we are now going to go and get and I'm going to get an Xbox labeled Rog Ally." That who said this in the chat? I don't know if this is true or not. Says, I agree, says Geek. He says, the Rog Ally is niche. Xbox games are native on the Rog Ally 2023 model. Like, from what I understand, this, what I've been told.
PC native. PC native, PC not native, Xbox native.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this is crazy. That I don't want to argue the limits of the hardware. That's not my point. Because I'm not trying to discourage people from buying it. If you want it, go ahead. Cold Blood is absolutely right. He's 1000% right. This is for the niche of the niche of the niche. If you're someone if you're a Ginger Prime, shout out to Ginger Prime. Phil Spencer! If you're someone that cries when you see Phil Spencer come on stage because you love Xbox that much, this is yours. Like, I always fuck with my wife and say, you know, you're blowing money on clothes. And her best friend was over the other day and we were like joking about it. Like, my wife will get 10 pairs of the same shoe, but because the laces have like a different stripe or a different color, to her it's a brand new shoe. And so, like, leading up in her shoe rack, she got like shoes that look exactly the same. Well, this one has a gold lace. This, you know what I'm saying? And so essentially, my wife is someone that, just because there's just a slight spec differentiation, she'll go buy the same thing. I imagine that someone in the realm of a Ginger Prime, I don't mean this in a mean way, but just a term, a sicko fan of Xbox who may already have a Rog Ally is going to go buy this thing again. I've already seen it. I've seen threads where people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to trade in my old one, or I'm going to buy me a second one. This is for a niche of a niche of a niche. So just because you go on a thread and 20 out of 30 comments say, I'm going to buy this, that's not a vertical slice of the entire community. It's just that those 20 sicko fans that follow everything Xbox, they congregated in that thread. That's what they're going to do. And that's okay. That's fine if they want to do that. I don't care. I think the problem is that when people pretend like they didn't expect this to play all the Xbox games. Because we had Destin Legary, right? He infamously came out there and said, oh, this is going to play all my Xbox games, right? And I think they had to correct him. And it was a joke. They came out there during Gamescom, I saw it, tried to talk up this device, and Sarah Ball said, yeah, you're going to be able to play. She tried to talk in broad terms. Yeah, if it's a play anywhere game, I can't remember how she said it word for word, but she said if it's a console game, you'll be able to stream it from the cloud. No, you won't. No, you won't. Not with all of them. No, you won't. Every single game that you buy from the console store, it's not streamable on the cloud. You can go to our site, Cloud Dosage. Shout out to Cloud Dosage. They keep a running active live tally. And shout out to PlayStation Live Gamer who quoted something from one of our articles. Shout out to them. They keep a running active tally of every single game streamable on the cloud on any existing cloud platform. You cannot play your entire library from the cloud, your entire Xbox store library in the cloud. You can't. It's only a fraction. It's only a fraction of the available library. So my thing to y'all is, if y'all sit there and still fall for the rhetoric, if you're still falling for these content creators that are hitting you in the wrong direction and getting you overhyped about stuff, that's on you. That's a you problem. Geek says the GPU is supposed to be a 7600 XT equivalent. I believe that was a bit of a disappointment to me. Here's the thing. Go ahead, brother.
No, can I say something about that?
No, that's what I said. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
You understand that your ally can only have so much wattage at one point,
That is true.
right? Like your GPU in a PC has like what, 200, 300 watts of power at all times while gaming. Your Rog Ally has only about 30 watts for both the CPU and GPU, which are together in that motherfucker. That is not even close to an equivalent to a damn PC GPU, bro.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that wattage is plays a huge part in why, if you were looking for something more with more performance, you're going to pay a lot more for it. Geek says we're talking about Fremont. Is that what is that? The chipset or some shit like that?
No, this is the Steam console that apparently is gonna be coming out at some point.
Oh yeah. I mean, we'll see how that works. I mean, the average console gamer isn't going to buy it. But still, I think enough. And the average console, and the console game that I'm talking about that could defect, they're not buying any of these pre-builds. They're smart enough and aware enough to know that if they're going to get something, they need to put it together themselves. They're not getting a pre-build. They're going to go get something, put it together, and it's going to be AMD, and they're going to go about their business. Hell, I might even build an 8 shit. I mean, Mark Cerny is a fucking genius. So if he's involved in Project Amethyst and they're like FSR 5 or whatever the fuck it is out, I might very well convert over, buy me buy me an AMD rig, strictly for gaming. Who knows? We'll see.
I mean, your problem really is just having a different CPU. You already got a 4070, right?
Yeah, I need it. Yeah, I got to get a new board and shit.
That should be your upgrade path, not a new GPU, bro.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, what I could do is in my capture PC, I could take this 4070 Super and put it in my capture PC and take this 3070. I think it's take this 3070 out and sell it for whatever. And just because when you're doing I know, well, for me, when I'm doing capture, even though they say AMD, don't they say AMD is better for capture shit? I don't know.
Only if you want to do what was it, AV1 or something?
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot to think about there. There's a lot. He says sometimes you could just find deals. Yeah, you could find. That's what I'm saying. But that's my point, Geek, is yeah, that's my point, is that when you realize, if you have this disposable income and you realize that, hey, I can get some deals on some of these parts, and hey, do you see the price of the fucking games out here? Like, holy shit. Hey, I think those that are more savvy and have disposable income, they're at risk, and I think there's enough of them at risk to affect Sony's bottom line. Will it affect it as hard as PlayStation's? I don't know, but it is going to affect it enough to where Totoki is going to panic because he feels the pressure. That cornball here, let me show you guys. That cornball ass side by side he tried to do with Kojima. That shit was hilarious. Every time I see this, I howl, bro. Like, this shit is corny as this is how lame the leadership at PlayStation is now, that they thought that this would fix everything. Look at this. This is so lame to me. Now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Totoki's chilling with Kojima. Fuck out of here. But this shows that there's a chink in the armor. Like, they are cognizant. They're like, holy fuck. I didn't think that. And the pressure's on Totoki. Because unlike Xbox, like, if everything that Satya did to rearrange Xbox and now turn it into a glorified publisher, if in the end it harms Xbox to the point to where they have to sell it, or at worst it closes down, or if they got to scale it down heavily, it will have some ramifications, because he did spend 75 billion, 100 billion in acquisitions. But I don't think it's going to kill him, or it's going to hurt him too bad in the long run. They'll continue forward with their AI and all this other stuff, and they'll rebound. Microsoft will be just fine. This dude, on the other hand, PlayStation is at the bulk of everything that they do. If PlayStation fails, Sony fails. So the pressure is on. We'll see. We'll see.
I think this picture is the death sentence of Kojima.
Yeah. He said, no, he came and gave Kojima the plague.
Bro, everywhere Totoki goes, bro, something dies.
Yeah. Like, bro, that was so corny to me, bro. Like, it's like, whoa, how dumb do you think we are? And the people that are Cobra, the people that are defending PlayStation and are like, oh, there's nothing to see here, even they are looking at this like, they don't even want to talk about this. It's so obvious of how cornball this is. They're not even talking about it. It's just corny. He said he came there and gave him the plague. Damn, yeah. We tried to warn you. I got to give credit to where credit's due. My brother said it first. He tried to warn everybody, including me, about Herman Holst, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's going to do great, but I don't see Herman Holst as a threat. Tried to warn y'all. Come to find out, him and Amy Schmetz, they approved Concord. Wow. You can't blame Totoki for that. That's all Herman Holst.
Bro, imagine that was supposed to be the future of PlayStation.
Oh my God.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have any faith in Hiroki Totoki's leadership until he replaces them two. Until the Guerrilla Games influence in the leadership side, until that's completely eradicated. Like, I think Guerrilla Games are great developers when it comes to technology, and they got a great franchise on their hands. Leave them there. I don't know who Herm Holst got butt naked on tape as blackmail, where they were convinced that him and his team are the people to lead the future of PlayStation. I don't understand this, but I feel like Herm and Angie have to go, because nothing against Angie, but Angie clearly was bought in because she's a yes person, and Herm clearly wanted somebody that would, produce and approve of his vision. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being a great QC figurehead that obviously Connie was. I know Connie looked at that, was like, Herm, stop fucking with me, man. I got a lot of work to do. Now show me the real pictures of Concord. But this is it. Huh? Motherfucker, are you high? Oh, she probably gave it to him. And he trots back to Herm Holtz. She talked about me in a way that I don't think is appropriate. We need to send her to the unemployment line. And now the rest is history. An abysmal history, but the rest is history. So yeah, I just think that whole Guerrilla Games front office stench needs to be removed. They don't need to be removed as far as developers. They do, I think, fantastic work. Decima engine shit. The Decima engine, from a technology standpoint, I think is good enough to revolutionize the whole fucking industry. That's what they need to be working on. Let them lead. Like, make a technology center where PlayStation, they can work on the Decima engine and probably license it out and make Herman Holtz in charge of that. Or they could work internally with studios, and they could work on the Decima. Like, extend your footprint that way. That's a great way to improve margins. Work on that Decima engine and compete with Unreal. Because Unreal, now we're seeing everybody saying Unreal is trash, right? So compete with Unreal. That's what Herm Holtz would be suited for. Not no front office leadership role within SIE. Get him and Angie the fuck out of there. And Guerrilla, get them out of that role. But I don't have any faith in the Totoki leadership at all, unless he makes that move. If he gets rid of Herm, gets rid of Angie, and they find competent, proven leadership that day one, when they take office, they at least communicate the right things in detail that we want to hear as PlayStation consumers. I have no faith in his leadership, and they all can go. I don't know how you feel, Cold Blood. I'm kind of on the fence about Nishino, but I'm not opposed to him going too. What do you think?
I want them all gone, but it has to be with some promises that the next person that does it, bro, that doesn't go behind the actual consumer's back, bro. Because it can be even worse than this. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It could be so much worse, actually. Like, bro, they could just literally say, one game every 3 years from our first party studios. We don't need no fucking console sellers anymore. Fuck y'all, you get the third party shit. We ain't busting our ass off anymore for you. They could do that.
Yeah.
If it's all about money, hey, the third party is more than enough, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So if we get better people that give a shit, yes, fire them all. Bro, no severance package. Get the fuck out of here.
Get no golden parachute. And
nope, none. And
again, Nishino would be collateral damage possibly in that. Who cares? Shit happens. I think that sends, and this is something from a business perspective I want us to be cognizant of, because this problem doesn't begin with Hiroki. This problem begins with the board. It's Sony that thought that it's the Sony board that appointed Hiroki. It's the Sony board that knows that he had no ties to gaming culture previously, when that was a standing necessity in all prior leadership. They knew that, and they still appointed him because they are so diehard on margins. They said, fuck it. I think that's a shot to the board that if everybody is removed, that they get it. that they understand now. And there's not so much we can do about the board, the board of directors. I think, or the board, if my memory serves me right, I think investors, like in the stock, can vote on the board of directors. I don't know. I could be wrong. But this doesn't start with Hiroki. The board is the one that panicked when Xbox bought Activision Blizzard. They're the ones that were all for Jim Ryan buying up Firewalk and all these unproven studios and Jade Raymond's studio. Then when that wasn't working, they were on board with Hiroki Totoki coming on board and completely eradicating 30 years of history. Like literally, PlayStation had a modus operandi that worked for them for 30 fucking years. And this guy eradicated it. You don't do that unless the board of directors is in that mindset of that's what needs to be done. So maybe you are right. Maybe everybody has to go in order for us to feel comfortable in knowing that the board of directors finally gets it, and now they're going back and putting people in charge that have that original essence of PlayStation. And you can still raise profit margins. You got the China Hero Project. Hell, I threw you a bone with licenses.
Most. Y'all kept on saying it's great that PlayStation has such good numbers every year, right? And I said it's undeserved as fuck. They are getting it for almost nothing. And now that we hear shit like, yeah, we want to expand our shit, bro, now everybody's crying. They can only do that because you made them fucking successful for doing nothing, bro. Mm-hmm. For a whole generation almost. I don't know why y'all keep on championing those numbers. I never liked that. I think Sony is at their best when they are against the fucking wall.
I'm about to say something that's going to get clipped. But it is what it is. PlayStation did as successful as they did because Xbox didn't compete. Oh, he's blaming Xbox. It's Xbox's fault. But I mean, just think about it. I'm not saying it's Xbox's fault. Xbox didn't compete. Gamers won a game, so where else were they going to go? I believe. Now, I will say that a fair comparison from last generation, when you look at the first few years of the last generation and first few years of this generation, I think they held up pretty well. I think they did hold up pretty well when you compare the two. I really do, because remember last generation, people were complaining, where's the PlayStation? People were complaining last generation too. I think the problem became when it was heir apparent that they've curbed Xbox into submission, and Xbox didn't want to compete anymore. Like since Phil Spencer came out and said, "Oh, you can't out console PlayStation." I've said on numerous times, we have to pay attention to PlayStation with them not having a competitor out there. We want a competitor out there. I also said, this is why I was telling all of y'all, do not discredit E3. See, all these things that give you a peer and beyond the veil, never say they need to do them. So even though from a business standpoint, you can give credit to Sony from a business standpoint because they are doing great business, you can also simultaneously discredit them from a consumer standpoint, from a consumer satisfaction standpoint, and say, I don't like the direction that you're going into. But the tools that we had to see where they were going, what they were going to provide, and hold them to standard. When they let them go, and all of y'all were saying, no, they don't need an E3, or they don't need to do, no. Still sharpen steel. This is what keeps us in tune to what they're providing. If you're just saying, well, all they need to do is stay to play when they're ready, if you leave it in their hands, they're gonna do it. They're never ready. They'll do none. And guess what you're getting? You're getting none. PlayStation is out. I mean, Xbox is out here showing you all their shit because they're a third-party publisher now. That's what third-party publishers do. Like Ubisoft. Ubisoft had a whole meaningless ass, and I'm a fan of the legacy of the Division franchise. They had a whole meaningless ass 30-minute presentation on the Division 2. They had a whole bunch of meaningless ass presentations over Gamescom. That's what their third-party publishers do, presentations all the time. You gotta hold a platform holder to some type of standard. And the best standard that we had at our disposal at the time was E3. You got to show us something, and you got to show us something every year. And we told them they didn't need it. I mean, you can look at multiple things on how we got here and how if we turn back the hands of time, I think we would probably do it differently. But I'm telling y'all right now, let's look at this picture again. At the very, this is our last chance. This is absolutely our last chance. We're not going to get a chance after this. This is our last chance. If we don't say something now, because this right here is cornball as hell. If we don't speak up right now and say, you know what, and just in cold blood, I think that's a fair point to say. Let's not, as consumers, let's not even talk about their financials. That's fine. I think that's a fair point. Let's not say, well, we're getting a PlayStation 6. Like we got to be consistent and do it across the board. Don't say, let's not praise their financials. Like if you notice to that point, the last time that they broke numbers, I normally just because this is the area that I operate in, I normally go over to PlayStation financials. I'll go sit there and talk about it versus the Xbox financials. I didn't do it this past quarter, because I don't care. I frankly don't care anymore. So I do think that's a fair point. I think, though, we can't just stop there. We got to go across the board. Do not guarantee that you're getting a PlayStation. So shout out to Extreme, who is regularly running with hashtag Fire to Toki. I'm all for it. People can say, oh, you're whining, you console war, all this misinterpretation of terminology, all you want. I am a consumer that have been doing this for 4+ decades. I've seen what works, I've seen what doesn't work. And I know when these companies are trying to bullshit us. And I'm going to tell you, as someone that's in the industry, in the Fortune 500 industry, I'm going to tell you, money walks, bullshit talks. If you tell a company, particularly this one that's kind of on the ropes emotionally, because all this shit that they're out here saying over the last several weeks, if you, tell them, and there's a massive movement, I'm not getting a PlayStation 6, so fuck it. Take it from King David. I know Cold Blood's like, what? No PS6. Yeah, but flip it. No PS6, I'm not buying one. That will go back to the investors. And then the investors will say in the next fireside chat, because that's where those questions came from. Those questions were given to them from investors. From the next fireside chat, yes, so there's this hashtag no PlayStation 6 because the consumers are not in the direction, they don't like the direction the company's going into. What are you guys going to do about that? Oh, well, they fired us all today. You know what I'm saying?
No. You know what they're gonna say? They're gonna say PC day and date.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
The scam's off. PC day and date. But yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm done talking about their financials. I was doing it because that's the market that I'm in, and that's the perspective I bring to content creation. And equally, it's like you got people out there with agendas that are, oh, PlayStation is doomed and they're done, and even now PlayStation has to do this because their games aren't selling enough. It's never been about their games selling enough. Let me show you guys something. The next time you hear that idiotic argument, I want to show you guys this. Here, let me show you guys this. The next time you hear that idiotic argument of the games aren't doing enough. Hold on. Oh shoot. Keyboard almost fell. Here it goes, right here. All right. You see that? You see that article where it says PlayStation, Shuei Yoshida only 4. Hold on one second. God damn it.
Moss, can you hear me? Moss?
I can hear you. I can hear you, brother. Yep.
Okay.
All right, I want to show you guys this. Shuei Yoshida, only 4 out of 10 PlayStation games will make money, but Sony will always support talent. This article was published in July 4th of 2014. Listen to this first paragraph, because this will show you how stupid the argument was. The argument is that PlayStation has to do this because they're not making money. Sony Computer Entertainment has been known to publish quite a few games that haven't exactly been financial breakthroughs. Yet they don't seem to be about to give up on that kind of experience, as explained by Worldwide Studios president Shuei Yoshida during his panel at Game Lab in Barcelona a few days ago. They've been saying this since 2014 at least. And what's been working for Sony is not games individually selling, but collectively. Every 10 games, we got 4 that are bangers, 2 that are massive bangers that justify the other 8, regardless of how well they do. And what is the what did they mean by justification? They justified them by bringing people to the console. So it's never been about individual sales for all of their games. It was fine that, yeah, your big sellers were Horizon, God of War, what else? Ghost, Uncharted, Last of Us. That's fine that those are your big sellers, because when any of those 2 come out within a 10-game set, they're going to justify the development of the other 8. It's the other 8 that are also vital to creating an expansive and diverse catalog that'll reach that'll create a wide footprint for us to where we'll get all gamers to want to come to our platform. That was the name of the game. That's been their strategy. It changed 10 years later under Hiroki Totoki. And I'll give credit. Shout out to Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter told me last year, he said, Moss, their strategy changed. And I was like, it didn't change. Because I was disillusioned. Why would they? And me bringing up the financials now is only to say they don't need to do this. They have record-breaking profits. When the same lumb nuts was out there saying, they're not making money, this is why they got to do it. Without them fully doing this, without them seeing any systemic financial benefit from Lego Horizon. What did Lego Horizon sell? 20 billion? Right? Last time I saw that fucking crashed and burned. Without this really putting a dent in Sony's financials. I mean, yeah, what did they see? $20 million or 100? Well, how much did they see from their PC sales? I can't remember. Something nominal to everything else that they do. That's cloud gaming numbers. Shout out to cloud. You know, I love it. Those are cloud gaming numbers. Cloud gaming is it's not even 5% of the gaming business. Those are cloud gaming numbers. What Sony is seeing on the PC side. They don't have to do this. They ran into a wall with their margins temporarily through a number of factors. And instead of just doing a couple of smart things, doubling down on the China Hero Project and tapping into a new market. And secondly, and this is going to be controversial, I don't give a fuck, because it'll work if you put the right steps behind it. If you want to tap into the PC market, tap into the broader PC gaming market. The PC gamers that are out there bitching and whining and moaning about poorly optimized games, when a lot of it is just that their PCs are shit and they can barely play Minecraft. Tap into them. Put your cloud gaming efforts on PC. Make a select amount of your library available 6 months after launch on the console and just continuously add to it. And that way, if you don't have a PlayStation, you can you can play these games and either play these games on the cloud and either decide, hey, you know what? I'm really liking what PlayStation offers. Let me go get a console, or fine, I'll stay here with their release of games every so often, and I'll just play my PlayStation games here. Either way, you're not sacrificing parallel development, because once you build it, in order to put it on the cloud, that's a whole different set of people to align it on the cloud. You don't have the developers having to sit there. It's the engineers doing that shit. So the developers aren't sitting there concerned with that shit. And especially if it's not coming to the cloud for 6 months, that gives the engineers enough time to make sure that it's working. But PlayStation games now are coming to the cloud, if not day and date, like a fucking week later. So the engineers already got it intact. Put it in the cloud 6 months later. That way you're not sacrificing more. See, I'm not fanboying over the hardware. I understand how important it is to anchor the store to the hardware, but I'm not one of those that say, oh no, it's hardware or nothing. I'm saying you can make some concessions, but they need to be slight and they need to be careful. And I think the only concession that you can afford to make that will be fruitful and not harm your product for your console gamers at all is put it on the cloud 6 months later for PC. There's no need for Nexus, there's no parallel development, and then you don't have to make concessions and concede to these snarky Steam gamers. Why I gotta sign up for this? Meanwhile, they're signing up all over the place for everything else, but it's bad to sign up and make an account for PlayStation. Meanwhile, they're doing it for everybody. You ain't gotta concede nothing to those motherfuckers. You come to the PlayStation store in the cloud for PC, you're buying our games full price still, we're getting 100% of the revenue, we're not sharing it with anybody, and to access our games on the cloud, you pay a service fee. Instead of buying a console straight out. Now, your nose in the air, banana playing Steam gamer may not like that proposal, but as the Steam surveys show you, the majority of the gamers out there don't have the rigs to play these PlayStation games natively. So the ones that aren't out there on the internet with the 1660 GTX 1660s and shit, they might go out there and say, you know what, fuck it, I'll stream it. And this is a great experience streamed. And even though my card natively is not a 4K card, I can actually stream in 4K. This is fucking awesome. So I think between the China Hero Project, you incrementally putting shit out there on PC and monitoring that via the cloud, I think you got what it takes. That's a low margin. I mean, that's a high margin effort to just put it out there on the cloud and have the technicians just convert it to the cloud. There you go. Then there's rumors and murmurs about an African Hero Project. Now, a lot of you Y'all may hear that and you might be ignorant to the region and be like, Africa, what type of money? You would be amazed, astounded at the money out there in Africa. Like China already knows about it. But the money technology, China and Brazil already know, they are tapped into Africa. And I don't want to go into a whole economic spill there, but Sony realizes too, that's why there's murmurs of that. Between the China Hero Project and Africa Hero Project, and then fucking putting your games on the cloud on PC, you got enough there to address margins. This is not a necessity. So when you hear people argue and say, oh no, PlayStation has to do this because they're in trouble. No, you just have an uncultured CFO with no gaming history, no gaming background. Shout out to Extreme that did the research on this motherfucker. He has no gaming history. He has no gaming background. You have an uncultured motherfucker that just thinks more is better. He doesn't understand gaming. Just like how you had an unseasoned Satya Nadella that influenced day and date on PC, and they started to see their margins drop rapidly, where they were the slowest growing amongst the big three until they bought Activision Blizzard, until they started putting their games on PlayStation. Shout out to, I think we got another, was that another subscription? Oh, it's a super chat. Hold on. Let's check out this super chat here. We got Yatazik says Sony conceded to profits, casuals is their focus. That I agree with that 1,000%, Yatazik. But here's the problem, as I just mentioned, and maybe you missed it because I was sitting there running my mouth when you were dropping your super chat. When you sacrifice your hardcore to only focus on your casuals, you lose out on the fact that your hardcore per capita, per user, spend more. So that bottom 5% to 5 to 10, 15%, they make up a big bulk of your spending. Even though there's a bigger group of casuals and collectively they make more money, a large slot of your money is made up by that 5, 10, 15%. Because they buy the most. They are the ones buying 6 to 12 plus games a year. They're the ones buying a shit ton of microtransactions as well and other things too. That's a lot of money too, that it may not be as much as the money collectively from the casuals, but it's a lot of money. And if you lose that money because they convert over to PC, like how Xbox lost that money when those people went over to PC and stopped buying from the Xbox store, meaning Xbox now has to split the games on their first party with Steam and they're not getting any multi-plat revenue. When that happens, you're actually losing out even though you're selling to more people. That's what unseasoned leadership does. That's why Nintendo's not going to PC, because they get it. The power is in your store. Hold on one second. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Okay. All right, I got to get ready to get out of here. Final. Let me throw it to Cold Blood.
Boss, I got something for you. Go on Twitter in the DMs.
Oh, let me see.
Put that video on and go to about 2010.
Oh yeah. I wanted. Hold on. Copy. Yeah, I wanted to mention this real quick. Oh shoot. So as I'm getting this ready, oh come on computer. As I'm getting this ready, we might as well talk about PlayStation raising its prices real quick. What did you think about that? I mean, are you surprised, disappointed, shocked?
I'ma just keep the same energy as the bots and say, if you didn't get a PlayStation when it was quote unquote cheap, don't fucking cry now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to hear it. Like, what did you wait for until that motherfucker costs $100?
Yeah.
Well, keep waiting then.
Yep. Yeah, that was kind of idiotic.
That is, in my opinion, fake outrage now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised by it. And then if you do the research, Sony had said they had 3 months worth of stock. And then, 3 months is over with. And I think it's over up a little bit sooner. So for all of you that argue, again, that's why I said I don't pay attention to the Xbox community for the most part. All of you that was arguing when PlayStation releases its numbers, oh no, that's shipped, not sold. Stop. That's proven to you that the shit is off the shelves. So, all right. So let's play this. This is hilarious. This is I won't spoil it for you for those of you that haven't heard about this yet. So let's play this and we'll talk about it on the back end and get ready to get out of here. So here we go.
Restart the game yet.
Yeah, they're still on to me.
Oh, great.
Oh, so maybe let me set the backdrop a little bit. This is Dying Light the Beast that's being shown during the Xbox showcase at Gamescom. So this is supposed to be playing on Xbox in case. So this is Dying Light the Beast. So here we go.
What other abilities can we see from Kyle's kind of beast mode abilities as well?
Actually, the beast mode will be very helpful right now because when you are in the beast mode, you can run faster, you can jump higher. That's actually a very good way of escaping those volatiles. So they're laughing at you again, right?
No.
Okay, but just to finish the thought, maybe let's go back to the game and I will finish the thought. So what happens is that the volatiles, what happens is that as they're chasing you, the beast mode, you get a number of combat skills that you, of course, is most used for combat. But then when you are running, when you are parkouring, they allow you to jump fast.
Did y'all see my man? Hey, yo. Cold Blood, you still there?
Technically, it's being played on an Xbox, right? Like,
yeah, it is being played on it. Oh my God. I want y'all to look at my man from the left. I'm gonna mute this. Just look at his face. Oh my God. Like, he was like, ooh, ooh.
A fucking, bro, a game crash and it exposes it's not even on Xbox, bro.
Oh my God. Look at his face. Look at it. That is hilarious. Oh God.
Should have had recorded footage so nobody can tell.
Yep. And if you remember when they had the Rog Ally joke? When they were showing in that Gamescom and they talked about Gears of War. If you guys noticed, they did not go into Gears of War gameplay on that. They just showed you the menu screen and left it, they wouldn't show you live gameplay.
I actually wanted to say something about that.
Go ahead.
The only reason people are in these fucking Xbox booths where they play this goddamn device, it's not even an Xbox game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
That's what everybody is there for.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't even advertise their own hardware with their own game.
On games, yeah.
They can't do it because nobody would play them, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody would go there.
Yep. That's what I was saying. Like, everybody's like, oh, Xbox One because PlayStation people are buying the game. Do you guys not understand how bad this is for Xbox? And again, this is not no fanboy stuff because I just kicked in Sony's ribs in the majority of the show, even on the Xbox portion. Like, a matter of fact, it says Xbox. I never changed the tab because I mixed it all in with PlayStation. But Xbox can't even highlight their shit with their own shit. They can't do it. Why? Because their own shit is not compelling enough to bring you to their platforms. Remember, look, their games are not compelling enough to bring you to their consoles. Remember Cold Blood? When everybody was like, oh, Call of Duty and Game Pass day and date, it's the end. And guess what? it wasn't even compelling enough to convert everybody to Game Pass as y'all claimed it was going to do. All it did was had more already subscribed people play Call of Duty in there. That's it. It still did the most on PlayStation.
My Game Pass is over tomorrow, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So the next Call of Duty I ain't even gonna touch.
Bro,
like get the fuck out of here.
It's insane. I don't understand. I don't understand why people even pay attention to them anymore. I mean, they're comical, they're funny to bring up, but the Xbox community is not even worth even bringing up. I mean, on countless occasions, their arguments are brain dead at best and contradictory. It literally makes no sense. They can't even use their own because their own shit is not compelling enough to make you switch. Hey, if you want to bring this shit over to us, fine, cool. We'll try it out. We'll engage with it. We might even enjoy it. But it's not compelling enough for it to do what you need it to do. Bring me to your platforms. So, all right. With that said, I got to get out of here. No rest for the weary, or however the saying goes. I gotta go and do more work. I did release a members video where I go more in detail about my dismay over platforms and other shit. So definitely check that out. I'm trying to find a cadence to where you guys can at least expect, okay, at least we're gonna get this consistently. I'm working on that. I got this project at work, and it's going longer at the tooth. It was supposed to be over by May. This is fucking August. So, all right, y'all. Cold Blood, any final thoughts before we get out of here, bro?
Gaming is dead.
and Gamescom was doo-doo.
And Microsoft is number one, I guess.
Yeah.
Best publisher ever that existed.
Yeah. Oh well.
Don't even question it.
Yeah, don't question it. And if you need proof, here, let's go back to, was it 2020, 2010? Let's go back here. If you need proof that Xbox is the best of the best, like, this is crazy. If you're like, hey man, you're being hyperbolic. What you talking about? They can't showcase their shit on their own shit. They are showcasing Dying Like the Beast, and they can't even use their own platform to do it. I gotta see his face. Look at it. Oh, look at it. Ah! Whoa, whoa. Oh gosh. Oh God. What are we gonna have? Can we go to commercial?
Bro got fired probably after.
Oh, bro, it's a wrap. Ooh. Oh well. All right, y'all. We are out of here till next time. You all have a wonderful gaming day. Consider becoming a member to support the platform and also to get the extra members content. Until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace. Oh man.